What would you do if your home, one of your biggest investment that you have, ends up being stolen? You figure it out and it's just gone. Right under your nose, without your consent, without your knowledge, and it's just gone. It's just sold and it's not yours anymore. Hi, my name is Amy Kwan. I am a real estate agent in the Toronto GTA area, and today we're unraveling a shocking, true real estate crime story that has shaken up the Toronto real estate early this year. Me, as a real estate agent in Toronto, I aim to educate average people like me and yourselves in this real estate space and serve in this beautiful GTA area. Stay tuned to discover how this beautiful, luxurious condo that is the tallest condo building in Canada, one of the units from that prestigious condo was stolen in an unbelievable way, in unthinkable ways. I cover topics about the Toronto real estate in the GTA area, and I really hope that I am able to help you if needed. Feel free to reach out and make sure you subscribe and comment down below before we get started. Now let's dive into the story, and happy holidays, everybody. Let's get in. Now, this story actually goes into the realm of title fraud. It is a sophisticated crime that has been thought out and planned out for months, if not years, by these offenders that have taken advantage of the fact that Mafiu is not residing in Canada at the time of this fraud happening, and the property was vacant. First, they identified the house and they identified through the software who owns this unit and decided to go ahead and create and forged things like her driver's license and other things that really took her identity away. So it was not only the title fraud, but also identity theft. So how they did it was, first the identity theft, they figured out who they're going to do it, and then they went into identity theft. Number two, they started making forged documents, and finally they followed through with their action through the condo sale without the owner's knowledge. They went ahead and tricked real estate agents that were involved, the lawyers, the title companies, and so many other individuals. So with all this happening in the background, Mafiu was never aware of what was happening. Mafiu, at the time of this happening, was only 24 at the time. Mafi purchased a 2-bedroom condo in 2017, and she moved back to China in 2019, and her plan was to come back so that she could come back and study here again. And while she was doing that, she left the home empty, and she didn't want to deal with tenants or anything like that. She left the condo empty and sort of went on. So how she went about discovering that, wait, something is wrong, was because she obviously has expenses. Even though she's left it empty, the condo, especially the condo management fee, occurs for every condo unit that you purchase. So she's been paying her condo management fee, but in July 22, just randomly, she just wasn't being charged, and she thought, this is really weird. I've been paying it every month, and then now I'm not getting charged for it. So she asked her friend to investigate further and see what was happening to her unit. Not only her, but her friend and everyone in Toronto was very surprised to hear what actually has happened. Her friend has discovered mid-June of 2022, the property was listed at $978,000 and it was sold. At the end of that month, it was sold for $970,000 which is about $100,000 or $150,000 lower than its market price. And this was very weird. I mean, Mafia was very, very surprised to hear this. And this, unfortunately, was not only the issue, not just the condo, but also the identity. Her identity was stolen. Also, bank deposits at her TD account. These people have transferred about $300,000 from her bank account and out to whatever account they decided to do. And before she was able to notify the bank, the $300,000 were gone outside. This was not her, but it was just gone. They took advantage of her. Additionally, by forging her license plate, forging her permanent residence card, and all these identity related. And needless to say, Mafia was shocked. And I can't even imagine how shocked she would have been to just find out that her condo was sold, but not only that, this identity theft was happening. She says, I was freaking out and I couldn't believe what was going on here. The whole thing was outrageous, unbelievable, and it took me a while to digest. She said that through an interview, and this really wasn't just a financial blow, but a deeply personal violation that happened. So from here, she hired a private investigator, and everything that they found, including the details of what has went down and their suspects, and they handed it over to the police. But she says that police has done nothing for more than half a year after calling them and trying to get in contact with them. So when this happened, this has not only shocked, like I said, the owner, the Mafia, and also everyone that was involved, but also the Toronto general public. This crime rings alarm for not only the property owners involved, buyer and the seller, but everyone else, people who owns properties. They didn't know this could happen. I mean, everyone is shocked to figure out that this literally just happened. It really came forward once Mafia came to media to talk more about this, and it explodes in the media once she comes out with it, and the sparking public outrage and concerns comes out. And this actually is the number one story that was viewed in the news. I'm still shocked to even talk about it still. I cannot imagine going through that, like how she did, with being far away in China and having to go through so much, like alone and so young. It's just not fair. It's needless to say, whoever it is, it's so unfair for this to be happening to them, and I feel so bad. I know that this is a story that happened earlier this year. This has hit the headlines of Toronto Star and big newsletters in Toronto. It was on the news. It was everywhere when this happened. And as I'm finishing off the year, we're already in December of 2023, I wanted to touch on one of the biggest scandals in the Toronto real estate world, and just reflect, to be mindful of everything else that is happening and be thankful for what we have. So I wanted to come from the place of love and come from a place of educational times. There are a couple of reasons as to why she became the target, and there is no justification in what they have done to her or anything like that, but we can only try and see why they did that, or why she was an easy target, and try to prevent ourselves or try to mitigate our risks or chances of this happening to us. So basically, there are two main reasons as to why they believe so. Number one is the fact that actually this unit was purchased with cash. So no mortgage, no line of credit, no nothing. This was just bought out by her, and that's really the end of the story. So the pro of that from their side is that, number one, they don't have to deal with a bank anymore. If there was a mortgage on it, their return wouldn't have been as great. So let's say like this unit was sold for over 800,000, and let's say that they were, and there's two of them, so if they were to divide their the profits, they would be at around 400 and more per person. If the property was bought out using mortgage and they put in a typical 20% down, and let's say it's 800,000, let's just say that they bought it at $800,000, and then 160,000 is the down payment. That's all they would get anyway, and then divided by 2 after all the expenses after the closing. So it's really not worth it, I guess, in their view. So that's basically the number one. Number two is the fact that it was a vacant unit. So if it was occupied, they wouldn't be able to just walk in, or they wouldn't be able to just go take professional photos or anything like that, right? So those two things combining, she unfortunately became a target, and she had to go through so much. I feel really bad for her. And it might be time for you to really appreciate what is in the closing costs, and go ahead and review all the closing costs. I did make a video a while back about closing costs and what they are, so go ahead and check it out. I can make an updated one if you would like, and leave a comment down below if you would like one. Thank you guys, and thank you so much for being my viewers, my subscribers, and I wouldn't be able to be where I am now without you guys. I really appreciate that. I also want to mention though, I check my analytics in my YouTube channel, and there's, we've been getting quite a few subscribers that join me and in my journey, and I really appreciate every one of you guys. But there's a lot of you guys that are watching and seem to be returning to my videos but don't subscribe, so please go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel. That would really help me out a lot. It just shows me that you really appreciate it, and you really like my contents, and I really, really appreciate you back, and I hope that you guys are able to learn and grow from this channel, and hope to build this wealth. And if there is any positive that came out of this, it would just be that thankfully when she was purchasing this property, she thankfully bought title insurance. Most, if not all, of home transactions in Toronto require title insurance. So if you're freaking out, you probably have it. And it doesn't hurt to double check, but the title insurance is very important when stuff like this, unthinkable incidents happen. And so for her, the good side is that she has title insurance, she's covered. The title will go back to the original owners. And if you want me to make a video about title insurance, I am more than happy to. Please leave a comment down below. I would love to dive deeper with you guys on it. But basically, if you're asking me how much title insurance is, so for each $1,000 of your property, it's $1. So let's say, for example, $100,000, the title insurance would be $100 at the time of closing. And as well, if let's say it's $1 million, then it's $1,000. This is just an approximate amount. That is not correct for every home. It really depends, but that's just a good ballpark to see how much it is. So when you're closing, make sure that you do get the title insurance, that it is there at the time of closing. I know when you close on a house, there's just so much happening, and you might not really know what is happening, and you might not know all the costs associated with it. Most of the time, like if not all, 99.9% would have title insurance. Without it, lawyers typically cannot close or do not close. So, but it's one of these things where people say, I don't need it. Why do I need to add extra fees on my closing until stuff like this happen? And they realize that, yes, I do need it. Yes, I do need it. And it just becomes crucial. If you're thinking of buying a property or selling the property, it's just so important to be aware of what is happening. So today's story is not only about a story that happened and we just reminisce about. It is just so important for people to become more aware of and open their eyes if something like this happens, or if you're thinking, oh, $1,000, I don't need that added. Imagine if that was happened to you. This you wouldn't be able to recover without the title company insurance, especially if the police force or if the investigation force is not able to achieve and it's not able to bring you back the home. It's not only about the money at that point, it's about everything else that happens. It's your home, it's your baby, it's where your most closest part of you exists. It's a part of who you are. I have a home myself, and I can't imagine that just being sold without my consent or not even knowing that it's happened. I can't imagine that happening. So I really empathize with Mafi. And another thing that was really interesting about this case was that the offenders have gained access to Mafi's property. They went in and everything and got the real estate agent and the photographers in the house and everything. And they did professional shootings in the condo unit. Mafi says that they were using the same furniture that she was using. Most of the furnishings that they used for the professional shooting was her furniture. It was what she bought. They added a couple of little accessories like night tables and pillows and stuff, but most of it was her stuff. Literally, privacy issue when I was investigating it, when I was reading into this. Lastly, I want to ask, what are your thoughts on this crime? Do you think that this could have been prevented, or do you think that this is just one of these times where it just happens and you just have to deal with it? What do you guys think about this whole thing? I would love to know. And please drop a comment down below. I will read them and respond to them as much as I could. Make sure before you go, you like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more real estate related content in Toronto. And next up, we will be exploring more about the Toronto real estate world and maybe your next strategy or maybe predictions of 2024. And if you want to see those contents, make sure you go ahead and leave a comment down below. And if you have any real estate questions in the GTA area and in Ontario, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. I would love to answer your questions, go on a 30-minute consultation with you, free of charge to you. And I cannot wait to see what 2024 brings for both of us. And I'll see you guys later. Until next time, annyeong!